What's up, you all? Welcome. I'm KyleMichael Dory, certified hypnotherapist out here in California, sunny California. It's actually winter time, so it's a little cold actually. But yeah, I got a degree in clinical therapy out here, clinical hypnotherapy. And yeah, I wanted to do a video. It's been a couple weeks since I've done one in this light. The holiday season tends to be very busy for me, and but I hope you've all been well and the growth has continued. I know it has for myself, the ups and downs, but I'm here and I'm better for everything, and hope you feel the same. And well, in this video, maybe we can get into how the hard times can bring out the best in us. And so this is going to be a free flow. I don't necessarily have a topic, but I'm going to let my heart pour, as I love to do. So thank you for coming on this ride with me, and hopefully some realizations as they come to me can come for you, and vice versa. And if you enjoy these videos, subscribe to the channel, and like and share them, and also feel free to leave comments too, and engage in discussion, because these tend to be deep topics, life topics, and psychological topics, and spiritual topics as well. You know, and definitely, you know, we're about to bring 2018 to a close, and I don't know about for you all, but for me, 2018 has been one hell of a year. A roller coaster for sure. You know, I've been very fortunate to be able to help many people all over. But you know, and you do get to see a certain side of me. But I'm a human being too, so I've had my ups and I've had my downs as well. But you know, I'm here. I'm still here, and I know, like I said before, I'm better for it, right? And you know, one thing that I'd like for you all to think about, especially now since we're about to bring 2018 to a close, is what is it that you'd like to leave behind in 2018, right? What is it that you'd like to let go of? You know, I mean, yes, the calendar and time is something that we kind of make, and we've chosen for January 1st to be that brand new day of the year, and it also goes with the rotation around the sun and all that kind of stuff too. But I think that it's a great tool to use, because it's allows us to pick a time to truly leave what happened in that 365 days behind, and reset the clock and start anew. And I think that's a cool thing. So what is it in 2018 that you'd like to let go? What is it? Right now. Think about it in your mind. Even if it's one thing. Maybe there's more than one. That's okay too. It's good. But think about those things or that thing that you don't want to bring with you into 2019. And when you get it, write that down. You can write down on a piece of paper what you want to leave in 2018. You don't want to take that with you. You want to leave it there. And after that, what is it that you'd like to step into in 2019? What is it now that you like 2019 to represent for you? What do you want 2019 to represent for you? And when you have that in your mind, maybe it's a couple things too. But the main thing, if you can think of the overlying meaning of 2019. What would you like 2019 to mean for you? Write that down. And realize that it's good that you thought about these things and that you can let go of that thing you wanted to let go in 2018. And this is an incredible opportunity for you to step into 2019 with that meaning that you want it to represent, and go for it. Go for it in an incredibly thoughtful manner. Right? As I mentioned, I'm a hypnotherapist, so if you want to work one-on-one with me and we can really dive into these two things that you've written down, I'd highly recommend it. And I'll leave my information and at the bottom. You can contact me. But it's incredibly important to really have these things in your mind. And I'm very curious of what you get. And so definitely leave a message in the comments, and imagine you'll see that maybe a lot of us have some of the same things. We're not all that different. I think we're much more alike than we are different. We are all different, yes, but we do have a lot more similarities than I think we like to give credit for. And those similarities are the things that can really connect us, bring us closer together. So that's that. That kind of came forward. And then I'd like to talk about choices. That was something that came to me. The choices that we make. Because in 2018, you made a lot of choices. And I'm sure some of them were good. And I'm sure some of them you maybe have wished you made a different choice. And all of those, and some, wish they had made a choice, right? So you made good choices, not so good choices, maybe some bad choices, and then some may feel like they didn't make a choice at all. But always remember that not making a choice is still a choice. And usually not making a choice is the worst choice, Because at least if you made a choice and it was a wrong choice, you can know why it was a wrong choice, right? You can have learned from the choice. But by not making a choice at all, you don't even get the opportunity to be able to learn from it, right? At the very least, maybe you can learn from the fact that you should make a choice from not making a choice. So, but I'm sure there's a lot of choices that you made in 2018, good and bad. And in a moment as we talk here, it's very important that you think about those choices, the right choices that you made. And also think about those choices that you're not so proud of. And I know it can be hard, but we're all human beings here, and I think it's a natural part of the journey to make choices that we're not so proud of. But as we step into 2019, let's really reflect on those not so good choices and really thoughtfully and courageously think about how we can be better because of those choices that we made. How those choices don't define us. You see, a lot of times we can feel like the choices that we make define who we are. But the truth is, it's hard to define a person. Because you can only define a person for who they were in that particular moment. in every particular moment, you have a certain level of awareness and a certain level of knowledge and wisdom that you've gained. And from there, you make decisions based upon that. Right? And I think, most people try to make decisions that they feel are the best for them. Most people don't intentionally make decisions that they know are the worst for them. They may end up being that way, but the intention is what's going to be best for them in that moment, right? And literally, usually, it's in that moment. I'm not going to go totally off topic, but then it's also important to point out that if we can make choices that have that we keep in mind what is the best choice for the long-term outcome, those tend to be better choices. I think as human beings, we can get caught up thinking about what's the best choice in the short term, whatever that may be. What will give me this, what will give me that in the short term. What may even feel pleasurable now. But what feels pleasurable now, a lot of times, is not necessarily what is best for you a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. And so, while yes, it is great to think about the moment and be in the moment, because that's where we can be, it's still incredibly important to make decisions based upon where we want to be in the future. Right? Because every choice that we make means something. It's like almost there's like two thoughts, right? Two teams of thought of nothing matters anyways, right? Because, life is finite. You're here one day and you're here to go tomorrow, so you could think to yourself that nothing matters, and that's one way of thinking, okay? And maybe that's an easier way of thinking. Because by thinking that way, nothing matters, and you really don't have to feel as responsible for it. You get able to kind of say, hey, nothing really matters anyways, okay. But the other side is that everything matters. Every choice matters. Every choice matters. And that is heavy. It's a pretty heavy thought. That's scary, actually. Everything matters? But it takes courage to realize that everything matters and to live accordingly and to begin to make decisions, choices, based on the fact that everything that you do matters. It matters to you, and it plays an impact. Everything has an impact on the world around you, how it affects others. But yeah, think about the choices you made. And it's not that you just have to think about the bad ones. Reflect on the good ones too. Absolutely. Feel good about those good choices, those good decisions that you made, because you learned from those too, because you realize, hey, that was a right thing to do. I had good results from that thing. It made me feel good. It propelled me in a positive way. That was good. And so you can take that with you and apply that, and maybe applying it again may be different, because every situation is different, but at least you know what the results were from that. And from the negative results, which you really learn a lot from, think about how you cannot make the same mistakes again. Right? And if you have found yourself making the similar mistake multiple times, you really need to reevaluate where you're at. And this is not to say for you to judge yourself harshly, but we should be judging ourselves. There's nothing wrong inherently with judgment. You don't want to judge yourself to the point where you can no longer move forward, where you have, you're literally holding yourself down and you're standing in your own way. But You judge yourself accordingly, and really think about how you can grow and be better. You know? The choices we make, they're important. They matter. Even though it might be scary, they do matter. So, make the best decisions you can, not just for now, but for 2019, 2020, for years to come after. Because it's important, and your future self will thank you. Your future self will thank yourself today for having the forethought. And be real with yourself. Be real with yourself. Yeah. Another thing I'd like to step into as far as stepping into 2019 is thinking about what's important. And one thought that really hit me, because I've worked in and studied very deeply the personal development field, self-help as they call it. And there's a lot of cool things you can learn, and there's a lot of bogus stuff too that makes you maybe feel good in the moment, but and it's great to feel good in the moment, but I think it's very important to think about the long term. And when it comes to the long term, the thought that really hit me is it gets to the point where it's not so important to be doing something in your life that makes you happy. Because what do they say when you're trying to think about what you want to do with your life, what your goals are, what the end goal is? Most people say, I want to be happy, right? And that's great, but happiness is a feeling that comes and goes. And yeah, you can create happiness, but there's going to be a lot of times where you don't feel too happy. You're going to feel like shit, right? And there's external circumstances that come into play too that really, don't feel great. And yeah, you don't want to be stuck there, but to think you're going to always be happy, just to be in this state of happiness, is not very realistic. And I don't think that's the best. I don't think that's necessarily the best end goal of thinking I'm going to be happy. I mean, you'd say someone's necessarily want to be happy. I mean, there's a lot of things that can make you happy in the moment that really aren't great in the long term. A lot of people, people that do drugs, right? They do that and that might make them happy, but that's not necessarily the best thing for them, especially for their life. And everything could be falling down and crumbling down around them, but maybe in the moment they're happy, but it wasn't necessarily the best, right? So I don't know if happiness is the biggest goal that we can think about, but what I do think one of the biggest things that we can think about as far as our goal is doing something in our life that we feel is meaningful, that's meaningful to us. And that thing that is meaningful to us has to propel us through those times where we're not happy, because it has meaning. And I do speak for myself, and I'm not trying. I'm not, Mr. Fluffy Duffy. Maybe even if it comes off that way, who cares? But I do think that we do get meaning when we're doing something that's sincerely helping those around us, where it's not just about what we gain, but a beneficial gain to our society, to our culture, to our families. And there is a road, or kind of like a line, because we do things that will help ourselves, bring meaning to our lives, but will also give meaning to our family, right? And then what will give meaning to our society, you know, where we live, our general area, and what will, and then to our nation, and not just to our nation, but to our fellow human beings, you know, to get to the point where we can try to step out of this idealism, you know. That's a different topic right there, but, you know, just you know, realizing we're human beings, right? And I think this, you know, always trying to be a part of some team, because we're human beings. That's a pretty great team to be a part of. What would happen if we could begin to work with one another in a different way, where it wasn't us versus them, but it's just us trying to figure it out together, you know? But yeah. Going into 2019, thinking about, you know, for you, what would be very meaningful for you? What could you do in your life that's meaningful? And maybe you're in a career that you don't feel is very meaningful for you, and it doesn't make you happy. You know, what could you do? What steps could you take to help guide you to something that's going to be more meaningful for you? You know, and that's where I kind of want to tie it all together. What it is that you want to let go of in 2018, what you don't want to bring with you. You think about that, and what it is that you want to step into. Reflecting on the choices that you made. What did you learn? And what do you want 2019 to represent for you as you walk into it? And what do you want it to mean? What's going to give you meaning and purpose? And what are the steps that you feel you can take now to get there? And these are big thoughts, but it's very vital that we think about these things, because I know that this time next year, as we look into 2020, if you're in the same place, doing pretty much the same thing with the same feelings, you can be very disappointed with yourself. And that disappointment should scare you. You should be very scared of that. You should feel incredibly fearful of being in the exact same place. Even if you feel like you're pretty comfortable where you're at and you're happy where you're at and where you're at has meaning for you. But if there has been no growth in that time scheme, that should scare the hell out of you. That should scare the hell out of you. And use that fear. Use that fear to make some decisions, make some choices, to make sure that 2019's an incredible year. Maybe even your best year yet. And then we repeat the process, right? But in an even deeper way, because we've learned more. So, I'm going to end it there. It was free flow. I know we touched some things that I feel were pretty cool thoughts, pretty deep thoughts to dive into. And I wanted to wish you all very powerful and reflective end to your 2018, and an incredible entry as you walk through the doors. As you walk through the doors into a new year, stepping into a new you, and embracing what's to come. Because life's a journey. It's an epic journey. And like any great epic journey, it has its highs and its lows. Who's ever been to a movie where it's just happy, 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 happy. I don't know if that'd be a very good movie. It wouldn't touch us. What are the movies that changed you, right? What are those movies that almost brought a tear to your eye? And maybe they did. There's been some movies that have brought me to tears, even if no one's watching, right? Those movies are the movies that show you the dynamics of life, the highs, the lows, the hills, the valleys. Oh, but they make for a great story. A story that we can connect with. And so, how is 2019 going to work? Look for you, and I wish you so much love and positivity and power. I really do. Because I imagine if you're watching this, you really are looking, and that's where you want to be, in a different place, a better place, right? So my heart is with you, human to human, in that way. Right? All right. If you'd like to go deeper into what we discussed, especially so we can do more of a one-on-one and really get deep into what it is that you like to let go of and what you'd like to step into, you can email me at KyleMichael@magicminds.com. Check out www.magicminds.com. Also, feel free to check out my Instagram. I have I think about right now, at this time, we're talking about 66 episodes, or maybe more, by the time this this gets released, a minute of motivation, right? So right now there's well over an hour of minute of motivation that you can watch, and to really just give you some powerful words in a very short amount of time that can help motivate you for that time, to whatever it is that you're going through or want to be. And also I have a Facebook group. Feel free to check it out. Leaders of Light. As I said, I'm KyleMichael Dory. Pretty easy to find. And know that 2019 is going to look very different as far as my side, my end. I'm in a very different place than I was over the past couple years, and I don't necessarily, my philosophies have changed, and the way I look at life have changed, but it was the choices, the good and the bad, that helped get me here, and I know that I'm going in the right direction, and so that's all that matters. But know that you will get a different side of me, and I do get a lot of people that have look at my past videos and what they kind of look like and what they kind of represented for that time, and I'm not in that place at all. But I needed to go through a lot of those things to help get me to where I'm at, and I know that I'm going, like I said, in the right direction. And so, but just as a disclaimer for those that may be thinking they're going to see a certain element, know that things are looking different on my side, but may they be incredibly powerful in the journey, because it's all about change and growth as you go through it. So I felt like the need to say that. Either way, it's time to bring this video to a close. Thank you all for joining me, and as I said, I love to hear positive discussions. Let's try our best to keep it positive, and yeah, I wish you all very well, a very powerful new year, and maybe we'll talk one-on-one and get very deep to create incredible change for you. And definitely opened up my practice to be able to allow many more people to engage with me, so it's more affordable. And so if you're interested in a free consultation, we can talk about that, because I do things now on more of a sliding scale, because I really felt called from a very deep place to be able to help as many people as I can while I'm here, because it's meaningful for me. But either way, all right, you all. Till Until next time, keep going and keep growing. Live life and love life.